Molly, and today we have the lovely Rita. Would you like to introduce yourself? Give us details.
So hi guys, my name is Rita Omari, originally from Kenya, currently in Perth, studying at Murdoch. Yeah.
Nice. And that's Rita. So, holla at your girl. So today we're back with another topic, and that's singleness. What is singleness to you? To some, my understanding of singleness obviously could be different from yours. I feel as though for some people, singleness is intentionally choosing to not date and focus their energy on themselves and discovering their individuality more and more, and also spending time with God. For others, it's dating but without a label. So you're still dating and stuff, provided you're not a girlfriend, someone's girlfriend, fiance, or whatever. For them, that is still classified as singleness. And to some, as one of the talks that I came across by Mike Todd, if you're not married, you're single. Whether you're engaged, whether you're dating someone's girlfriend or boyfriend, whether you're not, you're all in the same category, which is single. I understood that from the statement of two become one when you get married. Not to say that you lose your individuality after marriage, it's rather there's someone now in that space. You know, you're now one, even though there's two people. Now, Rita, yes. What is singleness to you, or what does singleness look like to you?
I feel like it's a coming together of all the definitions you've given me,
right.
But at the very fundamental, or at the very basic, single is just being unentangled. Like, you know, see what I did there?
She said it!
Like, it's being alone, not
right.
in any relationship or situationship.
Right.
You know, it's just being you as you. You know, in the dictionary, single means one, a single thing, a single candle, a single being on your own. So more or less. So you're not dating, you're not in a situationship, you're not anyone's girlfriend.
So you're not basically replying to any chat tabs and all that?
I mean, even if you are replying, but yeah, no. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I somehow borrowed the mic to one, like, you know, even if you're engaged until you say I do, you're single.
Yeah.
So, like, basically nowadays there's single and courtship.
Right,
you know?
right. Okay.
So like, even if you're replying to ABCD's chats, you're replying to 5 guys, you're still single. There is no commitment.
Yeah.
I feel like single means without commitment. Once the commitment comes in, that's when you're actually in a relationship.
I love that.
But without that commitment, if I'm talking to Tom, Dick, Harry, whoever, I'm still single because I'm not committed to any one of them.
Yeah, and they're not committed to you either.
And you're not committed. So, like, you have no rights to catch feelings. Or you're talking to ABC, there's no commitment to that end. So,
yeah, and I did come across something where they do actually encourage, I'm not saying go out there and date whoever or whatever, but they do encourage people to explore their options.
Yes.
That way, when you do find the one, you're not running back again to check if this person is for me and stuff. You're sure that, obviously don't get people's hearts broken while you're doing that, but obviously you're doing it cautiously.
Yes.
For yourself, and also considering that person.
100%.
So my second question is, how do I become content in my singleness and still maintain the healthy boundaries of being in a relationship?
First of all, I feel like one thing people need to understand is that relationships are like a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
They need work, they need they need you 100%, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you cannot be able to carry out a task or a job given to you if you have any, say, like, you know, when you're getting into a new job, they ask you, do you have any health problems that will hinder you from perfecting?
I see what you did there.
Do you have any, you know, injuries? Do you have any back problems or anything that will hinder you from perfecting, like performing your job to perfection? And I feel it's the same thing in singleness, you first of all have to deal with your demons.
Yeah.
You know, whatever underlying issues you might have. So sometimes the things we can't really help, like the people who will have abandonment issues, or one thing we all have is insecurities,
right,
which I think is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If it pushes you, if it motivates you to work hard, like
Definitely.
I'm insecure but I have a flabby tummy,
Yeah.
it motivates me to go to the gym
Right,
and get my
yeah.
six-pack. Good. But sometimes our insecurities can be toxic,
Right.
and I feel those are some of the things we need to address, like putting your house in order and ensuring, you know, when you're looking for the one,
Yeah.
while you're looking or waiting, you have to ensure you're also the one
Yeah.
that's being sought after.
Absolutely.
So you have to deal with your problems as well, deal with the insecurities, deal with your, if it's your childhood trauma, deal with whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that there's this thing that says if you don't heal what cut you, you will bleed on people who did something, you know?
Hurt people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need to ensure that in your singleness, you deal with things that you think can hurt another person, even if it's not going to be your fault. Like if it's childhood trauma, that's no one's fault. No one asks for that.
Right.
But if you do not deal with it, if it's seeing a person, like a psychiatrist, talking to friends, whatever it is you need to do, if you do not deal with it before you get into a relationship, it's definitely going to bleed in. And as much as they say, you know, in relationships you should help to carry each other's burdens, some burdens are your own, like, that you need to deal with. Like some things you'll deal with for life,
right,
but at least when that person comes in, you're not hurting them. They're helping you cope, but you're not hurting them in the process of them helping you cope, if that makes sense.
And then victimizing yourself.
Exactly.
Of course. Oh wow.
Number 2, I would say, is being comfortable being on your own. Like, I feel like the prospect of you thinking that I'm going to be alone shouldn't scare you to the extent you're like, okay, I really need to be in a relationship. Because if you cannot imagine life on your own, I feel it's going to get to a point where you're going to feel that pressure to settle. Because you can't imagine living on your own. I'm not saying don't want to be in a relationship, but be comfortable with yourself.
Absolutely.
Like, I have had times where I've taken myself out for dinner, I've dressed up and I've gone out and I've had my meal. I've had times that I've gone to the movies alone and I'm fine in my own headspace. Like, it does not look weird that I'm doing these things alone, which are normally known to be date things or friend group things. But being comfortable in your own skin is a very good thing. And again, that comes with dealing with all these things and confronting all these things that can make you not want to be in your own head all the time.
I love that.
You know, so you have to deal with that. There's a quote I have, so that if you do not, like, you have to consider whether being in a relationship is like reprieve from the punishment of being alone. Like, if you consider it salvation, I'm finally in a relationship, then you need to sit down and think about why you're getting in that relationship in the first place.
Wow.
Like pressure, peer pressure, because everyone around you is in a relationship, shouldn't be enough reason to push you, or parents asking, you know, when are you bringing someone, or age, that's utter rubbish. Like, those are not enough reasons to be in a relationship. This is a person, assuming you're going to live to 90. You're, say, 25. My math is off, but assuming that's around, say, 65 years or whatever. 65 years is a very long time to live in regret, or misery. It is. Like, you think you're 30 and you're desperate because you're single. Imagine 60 years in misery. You're gonna think about it. So you shouldn't settle because
that hit hard.
Like, don't settle. Basically.
Wow, I love that.
I
mean, we're talking about healthy boundaries and all of that. Obviously, sexual desires come in as well.
100%.
What do you have to say about that?
This is such a... I feel sex is becoming are part of our everyday lives.
Right.
From sometimes the clothing that's sold now, to music, to some of the cartoons where we see, oh, these are kid things, but of late they're bringing up clips of some of these childhood cartoons we used to
WAP.
watch.
Have you watched WAP?
No.
Oh my goodness, just don't.
Exactly. It's so it's becoming normalized.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past we used to talk about it, I don't know, with reverence, or it wasn't such a casual is the right word.
Yeah.
It wasn't such a casual thing. But now it's out there.
The contradiction
everywhere
is that obviously now we have a lot of teenage or young pregnancies, baby mamas out there, or people, not to say that everyone who is a single parent has gone through the same kind of like the same path leading them to being a single parent, but I feel as though a lot of young kids claim that it's because our parents never taught us about sex and the do's and the don'ts and all those things. And obviously right now you're saying that it's publicized and it's become a thing that's of the open that used to be in private, and so that contradiction comes in, whereby people are like, oh, it's because no one ever taught us about it or spoke to us about it to tell us this is how it's done and this is the right thing to do. It's a bit confusing.
It is. And you see, the disadvantage with that is that when parents decide to ignore, not to talk about it, and kids learn it from the public, it is a twisted form of what it actually is. I will confess and I will thank God that I had a mom who put everything in the open.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Like, you grow up knowing this knowledge, but there are people who that's taboo. In some Kenyan tribes, it's taboo, like beyond a certain point. When males go through a certain rite of initiation, then that's it. The mom can't tell them anything.
Wow.
So it's a tricky thing. I honestly don't know, but it's something that's out there, and this bleeds into your singleness or your relationship, or
Wow.
So it's tricky. I feel parents should, because telling people to research, if I tell the kid, okay, go research and do on your own, the things they will come across.
I'll just pick how I want to understand it and then leave the rest. And that's the same with school anyways. We pick and choose what we want to get out of it, and then the rest is just whatever. I feel as though lately there's a lot of practices where maybe back then it was a thing, but these days people actually turning into like celibacy and all that, like practicing things that please themselves and God, but then to others that's more like, oh, try and avoid this person and stuff.
Yes.
Which obviously when you're in your season of singleness, this is one thing that you won't reveal to someone, because you feel as though you won't be accepted as, if you just come out there.
It's like something to be ashamed about.
Right.
It's like something to be embarrassed about, which I honestly don't get, and that's a true thing, because, guys are gonna look at you when you're single.
Is it just guys?
And you're like, I feel it goes both ways.
Right, okay.
Both ways. It's like having sex is something to be celebrated.
Right.
Right? It's like an achievement. It's
I made it!
I made it, guys.
Yeah.
Here's the trophy. Which, I mean, to each their own, but it's not. And even biblically, it's not. Right. And I feel like we need to strive to live by the standards of the Bible. And it's not, but that which is supposed to be the standard now is what is shunned and hushed about. Oh, you've not had sex. Okay, you know what? Don't mention it. And sure no one ever hears about that. Just, act cool.
I mean, we see it in movies as well.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. It's treating sex as a prize or as an achievement makes those who do not indulge feel like underachievers.
I'm missing
and
out on
losers.
something.
It's just,
Wow.
but no, I feel boundaries,
That's the word.
right?
Boundaries, yeah.
And this is something that's sacred and was created for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that, and especially as a young person who's trying to live according to the Bible, live your life pleasing God.
Mm.
Yes, we have our secular friends around us, but I feel like the Bible should trump all, right? The Bible should be the ultimate. So yes, there's going to be peer pressure. Yes, there's going to be guys who are going to be looking at you and they're like,
Yeah.
you just can't do it, man. Like, it's like there's something wrong with you. It's like you're broken.
Yeah.
It's like you're defective. But the Bible clearly says, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, at the end of the day, if someone doesn't accept you for who you are, then they're not for you in the first place. I mean, they've saved you a whole lot by telling you, look, I can't accept you because you're not good enough in this area or whatever it is. So I think, like you said, it goes back to individuality and spending more time with yourself and trying to study what you want as a person.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what works for you.
Yeah. And actually being single, you need to have these boundaries, right? Just so it's not like you're going to be single forever.
Yeah.
Unless you choose. The people who are going to decide, which is good. Good for you. But I feel like these boundaries, once you create them when you're alone and enforce them, they are going to even help the kind of people you attract. Right? Because you can't say, okay, I'm going to put up my boundaries when we meet with whoever.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're going to be like, I met you like this, you met me like this, so if you try to put up boundaries, so why are you trying to change? Or why are you trying to change me? I feel like the things you accept from the beginning, say you decided to want a person who drinks, or smokes, or watches football, and when you meet, it's like, no, I only watch football, only like specific matches, or specific teams, or whatever, and you decide to compromise, like, I mean, it's once in a while. But with time, you're like, you know what? I actually did not want someone who watches football, so I would appreciate it if you stop. He's going to be like, no, you found me like this. You accepted me like this. So what's changed? The things you accept from the onset of a relationship, there's no way to change it. That's why it's important to have boundaries. To know the things you will not accept from the get-go, so that if someone does not meet, like they do ABCD, I don't want you to do ABCD, they will not even appear on your radar in the first place. So boundaries in your singleness, very important.
Right.
So,
I love that. A question just came in mind. Let's talk about the list. We all know some people out there, they have a list. Some have had a list.
6-figure salary.
I mean, to some extent, yes, it works for some. It's good to have a list. It's good to know what are you what things you compromise on, what you won't, like you were talking about before. And obviously, there's that waiting period where we say, I'm waiting on God. And how do you know for sure that this is the person God has sent for me? Not to say that, or there's a right way to practice being single, that when he does come, you know exactly that's him. And because if we're to say that, that means that certain people are doing it wrong, so they won't be able to recognize the one. The funny thing is, when the one comes around, and let's say we have that assurance that, this person is the one, God has sent him to me at the right time and stuff, and things go wrong just all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden, he's not the one.
He's not the one.
You know what I mean?
I was mistaken.
And people forget that just because God is going to deliver that man doesn't mean that he's going to do the work for you as well. You know what I mean? So how do people get out of that mindset of trying to wait on God, but also make God do all the work that they need to be doing, like all that compromise and stuff, studying the person, studying yourself to figure out whether, okay, this works for me, this doesn't, and obviously when it does come in the healthy aspects of them show, or like the red flags, like we say, you're able to say, look, this is not working out for me. You know what I mean? Because as Christians, at times we make sure that we stay in a relationship or situationship just for the sake of, God really told me this is the one and stuff. So I don't care, like all the red flags, you just shun them out. So you know what I mean?
Again, as I said, like when you're waiting for the one, you have to prepare to be the one.
Yeah.
You see, as you said, we all have a list, and it's good to be realistic, guys. I mean,
I don't have a list anymore. I know what I want.
Like, I feel like there's basic things you would want in a person, right? If it's respectful, kind,
absolutely,
caring, considerate, slow to anger, whatever.
Yeah. Like
there's the fundamental things that there's the superficial, the tall, that
yeah.
There's that, but there's the fundamental, the core that you want even in your friends, that you want to have in people around you, more so someone you want to spend a lot of time with. There's the core principles that you cannot compromise on, right? But one thing a friend of mine asked me is that you have this list that you've made.
Yeah.
Are you yourself working on yourself in these aspects?
I was just about to say that.
Right?
Make sure you have those things that you.
Because you're like, I want someone who's slow to anger, but you are like dynamite.
Yeah.
Someone looks at you the wrong way and you're off.
Yeah.
You want someone who's caring, considerate. Are you? Right?
Wow.
So number one, these attributes that you're trying to want someone to have, cultivate them in yourself as well.
Right.
That's the first thing. Number two, prayerfully. Like, there's no one size fits all. And yes, I'm not saying, yes, the people who say God told me, I heard the voice of God.
Yeah.
Saying, go ye forth. That is thy betrothed. I don't know. I won't argue.
I've heard so many stories. Like, if you go on YouTube, there's a lot of videos.
I will not argue.
Yeah.
I will just say, I've not experienced it.
Yeah.
That does not mean it's not happening to others,
yeah.
right? But be in tune with God. I feel like even if he won't whisper in your ear, that is him. When you meet someone and you've been prayerful about it, there's going to be some kind of peace that's going to come along with it. Because I feel like before you decide, okay, this could be the one, there's a lot of things you're going to look at aside from you and how he makes you feel, because they say love is blind. The things you look at, how does he interact with people around you?
Right.
Is it the guys, like your friends are like, oh, so and so, and they're like, you know what, nah. You suddenly start losing friends, or you hear your friends complaining. How does he interact with your parents? How does he interact with, if you've ever seen him interacting with colleagues or people around you?
Wow.
That's a very good indicator, right? But prayerfully, of course, you're not blind. And as you said, being realistic. Because one thing, right, is the devil can bring what you want and make it like it comes from God.
Good.
So it's about being so in tune with God, such that when he reveals, either through dreams, visions, sometimes it can be through people around you, because there are times that people will be like, that's a good guy, like it can be endorsements from other people, and not people with bias, right? People who genuinely want what's best for you,
right?
It can be through other people, it can be through your own observation. I don't know, God works in mysterious ways.
Absolutely.
But you have to be so in tune with God that you do not mistake. Because I like using this story from the Bible. When Moses went to Pharaoh, right? After the burning bush, and God told him the staff, it turned into a snake. And Moses went before Pharaoh, and he's like, let my people go. And Pharaoh's like, no. And then he puts his staff down. It turns into a snake. Pharaoh's magicians came. They put their rods on the floor. It turned into snakes. the devil can bring something that's out to harm you, looking and packaged as what you want and what you prayed for. So if you're not keen, like if you're not prayerful about it, then you can easily take on board what he brings, and when you open it, it's just a can of worms.
Right.
So, like,
yeah, that was really good. Now my last question to you is, during that season of singleness, you know, for obviously both guys and girls, how do you know that you're ready to step back into being in a relationship? Like, are there signs? You know, is there like something that does it come to some? Maybe it could be a dream, or is it like you're saying that inner peace? What is it that assures you that, you know what, you're ready for it? Or can you never be ready for it? It just happens out of nowhere.
Wow. Honestly, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there. I'm single, right? So if there's anything, so if there's anything, like, this is just me giving my random thoughts,
right,
on what I think. So especially people who are already in a relationship or thinking to get into a relationship, if you think it does not make sense or apply to you, this is just another inexperienced single best friend giving advice. So I feel that people who are usually intentional about it, like they'll be like, I've worked on myself, I think, you know, I think I'm ready to live with someone. Like, I think I'm ready to share my space with someone. But I feel like before you get to that point of readiness, it comes from, I think it circles back to, as I said, like, knowing yourself and having made peace with yourself and knowing that I'm comfortable on my own, in my own space, even if I don't have a boyfriend, it's okay. Like, getting to that point of acceptance of, I'm alone, I'm fine, like, I'm enough, I'm good.
Preach.
You know, like, getting to that point where you're like, even if I don't get into a relationship, like, it's not like I'm defective, because let me tell you, it's gotten to a point where people idolize relationships, and this is something I've seen. And idolizing relationships makes you settle, you know, as you said, because of peer pressure. You know, parents are like, okay, you're growing old, so we want grandkids, or all your friends around you are getting married, what's wrong with you? You start feeling like it's a race, it's it's an achievement, it's and it's not. So once you make, despite the noise that's around you, once you're okay with your peace, your friends are married, fine, good for you, you're getting kids already, fine, like, that's good. Live your best life. Know that being single is not being defective or not being broken. I feel once you accept that, then I don't know how you're ready. I don't know, like, in that instance, if you come across someone who, say, you vibe with, or you like their vibes, or there's mutual attraction, you will know that, okay, fine, let's see. If it doesn't work on my own, I was fine, I can go back to being on my own. Because the people who pine for relationships, again, because of all these factors, so that the first guy who comes along, they will jump on it because, like, he's saving them from the misery of being alone. And that makes you settle. I feel like getting to that point of contentment, that's the word I was looking for. Contentment. Contentment in your singleness. I'm alone, I'm fine, I'm good. Once you get to that point, I feel it also helps you to be appropriately picky. Right? Because you will know a man liking you, he's not doing you a favor. And you don't have to reciprocate or show gratitude by getting into a relationship with him. It helps you to be appropriately picky about the people you want around you, about the kind of man you want, without, of course, being overly arrogant. Because I feel sometimes with this current feminism and women independent, women power, sometimes it can tend to be a little toxic. But, like, in the right frame of mind, you'll be able to know, like, okay, you know what, I don't like ABCD, especially if it contravenes the fundamental or like the core values that you want. You find a guy, everything is good, but he has a temper issues, and that's like one thing for you that's a deal breaker, regardless. You know, it helps you to be appropriately picky and know what you can compromise on, what you guys can work on together, and what it's just a no from the get-go. So getting to that point of contentment helps you to be appropriately picky. So when you go out there, you'll be like, okay, he meets A, B, C, D, his communication a little wanting, but we can work on it. There are things that you can actually work on, you know. So
I like that. And I think it's very important that when you are practicing your singleness, you realize that it's not like a season of preparing yourself for the next relationship. Like, you should approach it with the mindset that I'm working on me and for me, that when the relationship or the person comes and stuff, you are ready, and like you say, appropriately picky to the point where you're able to pick out on exactly what doesn't work for you, because you've worked so much on you that you know what doesn't work for you. It's not to say that the person has anything wrong with them, they're just not your person. So we need to approach singleness with the mindset of, this is my time to work on me and just close up all whatever it is that's happening.
I love what you've said. It's to work on you for you. Like, not work on you
for
to
someone
be
else.
good enough for someone else. Right? You're not working on yourself to be a wife material.
No.
You're not going to these cooking classes because I want to know how to keep my man by cooking him delicious food. No. I love eating. I want to eat good food.
Sis, I love that.
You know, it's not to attract and keep a man. It's for yourself.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like sometimes in the African community, sometimes, you know, when we're being brought up and they're like, you know, no, you shouldn't do that. You know, if you want to be a good man, if you want to be a good wife, good wives don't do this. Or, hey, is that how you're going to treat your husband? No. It's about you. And I feel once I got to that point, because there's a meme I came across recently that said, imagine not living your best life because you want to be labeled wife material. Look, I'm not saying you go out there and misbehave, right? But there's these experiences that guys say, I can't wait to get a boyfriend so that we can go together to Hawaii. Or, you know, I can't wait to get a boyfriend so that we can do all these things couples do. Like, putting your life on hold, waiting for a metaphorical boyfriend who you do not know when they're going to come. Live your best life. Work on yourself. Go to the gym. Get your six-pack for yourself because you want to be confident if you're not, or just for you.
Absolutely.
For you. Then whoever is going to come will find you on your journey, and then you will see, can we walk this journey together, or can we wave from different sides of the road? Like, work on yourself for you. Let it never be motivated by, I'm doing this so that I can be more seen by guys, so that I can be more marketable. Work on you for you.
And the beauty in that is that when they do decide to leave, they will leave you exactly the same way you were. They won't take nothing from you. Your worth will stay the same. Your value, nothing will change.
Maintaining those, like, and as you said, like, having those boundaries before you start dating, keep them. You know, if you're like, it's no sex before marriage. Like, it's so either we're on the same page on this one, or it's not working. You know, because as we were having the conversation earlier, the guys who were like, hey, since you got into a relationship, you've changed. You know, and I accept that change is inevitable. Like, we are always influenced by the people who are around us. Like, there's times that I've been around friends and I've started talking like them. Like, girl,
me too.
You know, so you are inevitably affected or influenced, but let it not affect the core of who you are. You know, you used to be this kind person, you used to be considerate, you used to be respectful. But suddenly you've gotten this boyfriend and now guys are shunning you and they're like, no, we can't do this. There are things that will change, but fundamentally, who you are as an individual, you really need to protect that. Maybe streamline your, you know, goals, values, whatever it is, but who you are as a person really shouldn't change.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
love that.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we invited the right person, okay? Okay. Yeah, just do let us know what questions you have. And for those of you who are in your season of singleness and stuff, I hope you do know and realize that it's not a season of misery. Really enjoy this period, because once it's gone, it's gone.
And this is the time you can do all you want to do alone, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If it's going to get that taxing education, like these rigorous things, it's because once you get into a relationship or start a family or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you have to remember you're now thinking for yourself, but you also have to consider someone else,
Absolutely.
how it affects them. It's no
Whether
longer
you like
just
it or
you
not. Yeah.
doing what you want. What you do affects another person.
Yeah.
So you really, like, this is the time to do achieve that bucket list, man. What
Just
if
don't be
your
reckless.
bucket list is about, you know, sky jumping, and then you find the guy you're with is afraid of heights?
Sis, I'm
Like-
still going.
You know, like these things where you've been keeping yourself, no, I want to wait for this person to go on these adventures, and
Yeah. That's so true.
you know, and that, like, fear of heights shouldn't be a deal breaker, you
Yeah.
know, if you make every other essential thing. So, like, live your best life.
Yeah,
It's not a season of misery. Own your singleness, and don't let no one tell you nothing. Really.
She said it.
Like,
That's
don't let anyone look down on you. Oh, so I'm still a virgin. You're still, like, I won't judge you if that was your choice, because these are conscious decisions we make.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's out of your control, and you know,
Yeah.
which is. But if it's a decision you made as an adult, that's fine. Let's not judge each other.
Yeah,
But
stand
again,
by it.
don't look down on each other because of your
Yeah,
different life choices.
absolutely,
You
yeah.
have your different life choices, and sometimes people live by different standards. I choose to live by the Bible. That those who do not believe in the Bible, whatever you do you. But just don't.
Don't drag everyone else in your choices and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. I loved this. I enjoyed it more than anyone else. But yeah, thanks for joining in. That's it for the first part. We'll have a second part coming up from a male's perspective, and I'm very keen to hear what they have to say. But yeah, it's good to have you all, and thank you so much.
Rambling. Sorry, guys, I rambled.